Some say Indiana is a flyover state without any redeeming qualities, but having lived here for 5 decades, I can tell you it has some of the most amazing things imaginable. Incredible world records, weird Indiana laws, things that happened here first, many famous people, and unusual facts. Without a doubt, there are some crazy things you don't know about Indiana. In Indiana, we have more than just a few weird facts. It was settled by ancient people over 10,000 years ago. Their earthworks at Anderson still predict solstices and equinoxes. And throughout the state are thousands of others. Indiana has a state fossil, the American mastodon. It's been found in nearly every county. When workers were building a canal in the 1800s, they found mastodons so well preserved in the bogs that they cracked open their bones and used the marrow to wax their boots. Indiana is the only place on Earth with a town called Santa Claus. And every letter sent to Santa Claus goes to the town, over 100,000 a year. And each letter is personally answered. Park County is considered the covered bridge capital of the world. There are 31 covered bridges. Several are considered haunted. Lawrence County is called the limestone capital of the world, with more high-quality limestone than any place else on the planet. And that is exported across the globe. From the Empire Quarry alone, 200,000 cubic feet was quarried for the Empire State Building in New York City. And not only are there thousands of limestone caves in southern Indiana, there are also 6 show caves. Squarbin Caverns, Indiana Caverns, Wyandotte Cave, Marengo Cave, Twin Caves, and Blue Spring Caverns. Indiana Caverns is the largest, with over 44 miles of passages and still being explored. And here's a fun fact. One cave in southern Indiana is home to a rare spider, Islandiana lewisi, not known to live anywhere else in the world. Thankfully, it's only 2 millimeters long and not a monster. At Shipshewana, there's an Amish Mennonite museum. And despite what you know about the Amish, it's a multimedia experience. In 1977, Elvis Presley played his last concert ever at Indianapolis, Indiana, inside Market Square Arena. Fans thought it was odd how he took extra time to thank everyone in the band, as if he knew it was his last. And speaking of odd, out of 92 counties in Indiana, 46 have reported Bigfoot sightings. Pretty much every county has reported UFOs. If you visit our state, be aware of our weird Indiana laws and stay out of trouble. If you plan on fishing, it requires a license on state-owned land. However, with or without a license, it's illegal to catch fish with your hands, a crossbow, or dynamite. It's illegal to coast a vehicle downhill in neutral. The judge will not buy that you're trying to be carbon neutral. Liquor stores cannot sell cold soda or cold water. Apparently, they don't want you mixing drinks in the parking lot. It's a crime to sniff glue to cause euphoria. No mention about sniffing it because you like the scent. You cannot ride a horse faster than 10 miles an hour in Indianapolis. Amish people, slow it down. And finally, it's illegal to throw a snowball across the street at Warsaw. This leaves cantaloupes and watermelons wide open. Indiana is a state of many firsts. The first train robbery in U.S. history was at Marshfield, Indiana in 1866. The Reno gang got away with $13,000. That's about $500,000 in today's money, and people are still looking for it. The first pro baseball game in America was played at Fort Wayne in 1871, and yet Indiana has never had a Major League Baseball team. In 1880, Wabash became the first city in the world lit by electricity. In 1885, Fort Wayne was the home of the first gasoline pump, invented by Sylvanus Bowser. The first goldfish farm in America was completed at Martinsville in 1899. In the early 1900s, Madam C.J. Walker of Indianapolis became the first female self-made millionaire in the United States. Her business was hair care products, and she employed over 40,000 people. In 1911, the rear view mirror was invented in Indianapolis. Indianapolis 500 driver Ray Haroon thought it would be a good idea when racing around the track at a blazing 74 miles an hour. And finally, in 1945, cruise control was invented by engineer Ralph Teeter of Hagerstown. And get this, he was blind. He invented cruise control because he hated his lawyers driving, whom kept slowing down and speeding up. Indiana is also a state of many world records. The Indianapolis Children's Museum is the largest children's museum in the world. 482,950 square feet on nearly 30 acres of land and over 130,000 artifacts. The Indianapolis 500 is the world's largest single-day sporting event. And with 257,325 permanent seats, it's the largest sporting event venue in the world. In the center of downtown Indianapolis is Monument Circle, a memorial to veterans. But at Christmas, it becomes the world's largest Christmas tree. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, it's 236 feet, 6 inches tall. At Alexandria is the world's largest ball of paint, about 19 feet in circumference and over 11,500 pounds. You can even add another layer for free and get a certificate. At Freelandville was born Glenn Wolfe in 1908. He holds the record of being the most married person in world history, 31 times in a row. His shortest marriage was 19 days, and the longest 11 years. At Kokomo is the world's largest sycamore stump. 57 feet in circumference. It once had a phone in it and doubled as a phone booth. And just across the breezeway is Old Ben, the largest steer in the world. 6.5 feet tall and up to 4,700 pounds. And to retell a corny joke for the millionth time, that's a big steer, and that ain't no bull. At Mentone, Indiana is the largest egg in the world, 10 feet high and 3,000 pounds. That chicken never walked again. At Centerville is the world's largest candle sculpture. 45 feet tall, 38 feet wide, and if you ask nicely, they can get you one that smells like pumpkin spice. At Cannleton is the world's largest Celtic cross in the world, cut from a single piece of stone, 20 feet high, 22 feet wide, and 4 feet thick. It took Greg Harris 23 months to carve it. Clarksville has the largest exposed Devonian-era fossil bed in the world. You can take a tour or explore on your own. It is massive. Honorable mention to the Colgate clock, also at Clarksville. It's 40 feet across and bigger than the Big Ben clock in London. It's now the 4th largest clock in the world. At West Baden is the West Baden Springs Resort Dome. From 1902 to 1913, it was the largest dome in the world and the largest in the United States until 1955. 100 feet to the top and 200 feet across. It's still a pretty cool thing to see today. It had a good long run in the record books. And speaking of long, the longest historic covered bridge in the United States is at Medora. At 431 feet long, this triple span is a monster. Once a year they have dinner inside with hundreds of patrons. The longest water coaster in the world is the Mammoth at Santa Claus, Indiana. Inside the Holiday World theme park, it's 1,763 feet long. And finally, the longest underground navigable river in the United States is at Bedford, Indiana, located inside the Blue Spring Caverns Park Cave. You can float 3 miles into the darkness. And here's a fun, scary fact. While the Binkley Cave system at Corydon is the longest in Indiana at 44 miles and counting, there might be an even larger one. The Lost River Cave system, shown here at Orangeville, has never been explored. Inside is a water-filled abyss. It's unclear how far it twists and turns underground. It could travel an insane distance, rivaling Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. That one is over 400 miles and counting. Indiana has produced a ton of people that made a name for themselves. Future President Abraham Lincoln grew up in Indiana, living here 14 years of his life, from 7 years old to 21. Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, was born at Henryville, Indiana in 1890. Pop star Michael Jackson, the best-selling music artist of all time, was born at Gary in 1958. Also his siblings, Janet, Jermaine, and LaToya, that also had successful solo careers. Indiana is also the birthplace of many rock stars. John Mellencamp of Seymour, that also has a home at Bloomington. Van Halen's David Lee Roth of Bloomington. Guns N' Roses' Izzy Stradlin and Axl Rose of Lafayette. Motley Crue's Mick Mars of Terre Haute. Henry Lee Summer of Brazil, Indiana, that had the hit Wish I Had a Girl Like That. And Blind Melon's Shannon Hoon, that was born at Dayton, Indiana. He was also buried there. Not to forget Bobby Helms of Martinsville that did Jingle Bell Rock. Hoagie Carmichael of Bloomington that wrote Stardust. And Cole Porter of Peru that wrote Anything Goes. And when it comes to movie and TV stars, way too many to mention. Here are just a few. Classic Hollywood star Carole Lombard, born at Fort Wayne, Indiana. She was married to Clark Gable before her untimely death in a plane crash. Actor and comedian Red Skelton, born at Vincennes. He had a nationally syndicated show, and now his own museum in his hometown. James Dean from Marion, iconic for Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant. He's buried in his hometown. Also from Marion is Jim Davis, creator of the Garfield comic strip. Steve McQueen from Beech Grove, known for The Great Escape and Bullitt. Who can forget Florence Henderson from Dale, Indiana, Mrs. Brady on the Brady Bunch? There's a birthplace memorial at Dale. Ron Glass of Evansville, Indiana, that starred in Barney Miller. David Letterman of Indianapolis, that hosted The Late Show with David Letterman. As well as newscaster Jane Pauley, also born in Indianapolis. Actor James Baskett, famous for playing Uncle Remus in Song of the South, was born and buried in Indianapolis. Brendan Fraser, also of Indianapolis, known for The Mummy, George of the Jungle, and Encino Man. Adam Driver from Mishawaka, known for Star Wars. Vivica Fox from South Bend, starred in Kill Bill and a ton of other features and TV. Joyce DeWitt grew up at Speedway, Indiana, famous for playing Janet on Three's Company. Dean Norris from South Bend, known for Breaking Bad. While not born here, TV personality Regis Philbin is buried on the Notre Dame campus, where he went to school. Jenna Fisher, born in Fort Wayne, best known for her role as Pam Beasley on The Office. Actress Erin Moran, that starred as Joni in Happy Days, lived at New Salisbury until her death. Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville, grew up at Newburgh. James Best, famous for his role as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane of the Dukes of Hazzard, grew up at Corydon. He's also buried there. Co-star John Schneider, that played Bo Duke, currently lives at Madison. And reality star Kat Von D lives at Vivi. The list truly goes on and on. This has been a small peek of the Indiana that I know and love. A rich history, crazy facts, lots to see and experience. Maybe it's time for a road trip.